And there we are with the most beautiful, radiant woman in Guelph right now. Hi, Alana.
Hi.
Hi. So for those of you who are tuning in, we are doing a Facebook Live with one of my best friends in the entire world and my client and member of the HOP90, Alana, and she did the program with her husband, Marty, as well. So she's going to be speaking kind of on behalf of them as a team, which is super exciting. So first of all, I just want to tell you, you look like, and I'm going to quote Coach Val here, you look like sunshine right now. Isn't that great?
I feel pretty sunshiny.
Yeah, which is just like it's just beaming off of you, and you are probably the most authentic person that I know. So we know that this is very, very genuine, and super grateful on behalf of myself and the other coaches from the HOP90 for you taking some time today just to tell us a little bit about what the last 90 days have been like for you. So thank you so much for being here. And I guess we'll just kind of get started with, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit with everybody that's watching, kind of what life looked like before you and your family before joining the program, and kind of what inspired you to get on board.
For sure. Marty and I had a son September 30th last year, Lucas.
And was super cute.
Yes. And so I had gained quite a bit of weight being pregnant.
Right.
Like over 60 pounds. And
right.
Marty also gained pregnancy weight through his support of me and my sugar addiction.
Of course.
And I think when I was pregnant, my cravings were butter tarts, cupcakes, and I was like on a hunt for that at all times. So
right.
As you can imagine, that kind of added on some weight plus a baby and all that. So coming into the new year, Lucas was coming into his 3.5, 4 months, and Marty and I we both were feeling like we needed a change. We needed
right.
to do something to get us back to more like how we were before, and even better than that.
Right.
We've often tried to lose weight or done different programs or things that we thought would help us be fit. And you know what? We always end up cycling back to bad habits and bad behaviors. Especially like, you do really well for like 3 weeks or a month of this awesome strict diet. And then as soon as it's over, you immediately binge on all that junk food. And then you go in and then you just fall into eating all the bad food again, like all the time. And then, 6 months later, all that weight is back on, plus another 10 pounds.
Right.
And that was kind of like a cycle that we kept falling into.
Right.
So, here we are, the new year is starting, we have a baby, we both have weight we want to get rid of, but we also just want a change to our lifestyle, and we wanted to find something that was going to help us just be a fit, awesome family to have the best, like for Lucas, right? Like we want to be able to keep up with him. We're older parents, we want to keep up with Lucas. We want to eat right so he sees that and he eats right, and we really were, as much as I knew how to buy the healthy options, like I'm going to the natural section of the grocery store. I don't go in the aisles. I knew all that kind of stuff. But even still, part of the HOP90 when we started was to like purge all your things, purge all your non-foods and your bad foods and that kind of thing to make your environment awesome. And I remember when we did that, like, it's not like we didn't have a bunch of really bad stuff, but there was still like a counter full of things to get rid of. Things that you thought were maybe okay, but really they were still in the kind of not so good category.
Suboptimal, we'll call it.
Yeah. And so I think, another thing was, I've always had a real bad addiction to sugar, but after being pregnant and really giving into those cravings like 100%, there was like, I was feeling like I was drowning in this, like, I can't get away from craving the sugar all the time. We had gotten into eating bread again, and now we were eating bread. Every breakfast was bread. Like there was always bread at breakfast. And, we were cheese, I've always been a huge lover of cheese. And so
Mm-hmm.
cheese would be on everything and in everything. And cheese was, like Marty said it really well this morning. He said to me, cheese became a condiment. And I didn't even think of it, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you don't even realize, you just like, I love cheese, so I'm going to put cheese on everything. But
Right.
then are you even tasting the cheese?
No.
It wasn't until I did this program that I realized, no, I was not tasting my cheese.
Right.
Now I love cheese more than ever because it's this special thing that I eat with pure glory, and I enjoy every morsel of it with no guilt.
Oh, I love you.
But yeah, so I guess to round that up, I'm just looking at my little notes here.
And I love it. You're very, Alana and I are kindred spirits. We are very A-type, so she came very prepared, which I super appreciate. So read away, girl, read away.
Another thing that kind of helped lead to wanting to start the HOP90 was I had a real decrease in mobility. Now, I will say Holly is an amazing trainer, and she trained me right up until I gave birth. I was working out. So it wasn't like I was being lazy and not, I was staying fit through my entire pregnancy. Holly and I worked out 3 times a week. I did it right up until the birth, and so it was really hard for me. You're looking 3.5 months after, and I was missing that workout element in my life, but I also felt like I just didn't even know where to start with it. Like mobility had decreased a lot. I had all this extra weight, which made me very stiff, and also, like, you have a baby, you want to get down on the floor and play with them, and I felt like I couldn't even get back up. I'm like an old person trying to get off the floor. Like, now I'm just popping up off the floor.
Just love it. There's that sunshine.
And I think other than that, sleep wasn't the best, but that a lot had to do with a baby.
Right.
And it's been interesting as we've gone through the HOP90. We've also gone through changes with Lucas, and things have kind of all come together wonderfully, which is really good. And some of it I think could also be tied to the HOP90. I mean, I was getting better at many areas of my life, and so I think then that goes into Lucas as well. Like definitely too, the food intake has just been. I've been eating whole foods and way more veggies than I was eating in the first 3 months, and definitely, his whole digestive system, everything about him seems like 1,000 times better just from me making my diet 1,000 times better. And that's another
amazing,
really awesome about it.
Just incredible. And I know we've had some conversations as well. So a big component of our program is managing, not getting rid of, because that's an impossibility, our stress and anxiety. So you imagine being in Alana and Marty's shoes, 3-month-old baby when they started this program, a little bit younger, sleep training, high stress. So I know that box breathing has become very helpful for you as well, in terms of when you are sleep deprived and Lucas is crying, it can be something that causes a lot of stress and anxiety for a person. And just having those tools in that moment to be able to relax into your breathing. And then you and I discussed how you felt that also relaxed Lucas at the same time, which is just so incredible.
Yeah, I will say on that point, Holly, box breathing has been one of the major changes that has been really positive that has come out of HOP90 for me, especially being someone that is a bit of an anxious person, a big worrier. I have ADHD, so I have some areas that, I need to just bring things down a level. And I've always been told by my counselor and other people, you should meditate. I've just been terrible at it. But in the HOP90, we learned about box breathing, and that was something that was simple to do. I started out with 1 minute a day. Now I do 3 minutes a day. And sometimes I've even done 6 or 7 minutes at a time, depending on my moment. But where I've really incorporated it into my life is every single night, bedtime routine with Lucas. When we get to breastfeeding, I box breathe, because he's always a little bit hyper. He gets hyped up at bedtime, even though he knows it's bedtime. I think he gets but as soon as we get to the chest, we box breathe together, and I tell him, okay, we're going to breathe now, Lucas. We do the breathing, and he just completely calms down, drinks the milk, and then he goes right to sleep now. No, nothing, just right to bed as soon as I put him down, and sleeps for 12 hours. So just absolutely incredible, Alana. And I know Coach Davor talks about this a lot
as he and I have both lived with anxiety quite a bit. And he said, you know, the first time somebody said to him, oh, you should meditate, you know, telling a person that's filled with anxiety and rumination and, you know, your mind doesn't shut off. So doing an activity where you're sitting down trying to shut off your mind can be even more frustrating and cause even more anxiety. So it's been really cool to see how focusing on the breath work has really added that nice component to your life that is impacting your son as well. So just awesome. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add there, or maybe we can kind of move along, because I wanted to chat with you about kind of, you know, what changes have you experienced since joining the program? I mean, obviously, you know, I posted some pictures of you today that you were very, very generous to let me share so that we can kind of inspire others, and it's very, very brave, but damn, you look good. So, but we know that it's not necessarily about weight loss for everybody. It's not necessarily about the outer appearance. So just, you know, kind of let our onlookers know what's the biggest things that have changed for you.
For sure, yeah. Obviously, like you said, the weight was a big deal. I was the heaviest I've ever been in my life after giving birth to Lucas. Like when I was pregnant at the very end, I got up to 209 pounds. Like,
yeah.
What the heck? Like for me, I've, you know, always been kind of somewhere between like 135 and maybe at my heaviest, like 155
right.
at different times in my life. That's kind of been my area. So for me, after I lost the first 30 pounds pretty quick, it was all like fluid, and that just kind of dropped off. But then I was just kind of stayed around like the 180, 178 mark for, you know, the rest of the time until we started the HOP90. And
right.
So obviously one of the big things for me was to lose the weight. It was a physical aspect. And
yes, of course. Yep.
And also just to, like, I always have a problem with like looking in the mirror and feeling fat and feeling, you know, gross. And that was a mindset I really want to change. And it's obviously an ongoing, you know, process, but
yes,
it has definitely gotten so much better since doing the HOP90. Also, when I write my identity goals, you know, I'm always talking about how I see myself in the mirror, because that's important to me, because I want that mindset to change. And I can already tell that it is changing. I am starting to become that person that I set out in the beginning to be.
yes,
You know, and yes, I've lost the weight, but for me, it's like I'm fitting back into my clothes that I wore before I got pregnant. That's huge for me. You know, I've been able to pack up all the pregnancy clothes and all of that. You know, I'm back in my size, which is just a huge deal. For me, it's like how the clothes fit and feeling good in your skin. And
yes,
and like I said, also being able to move. Like, so when Marty and I started the HOP90, just before we started, we were like, okay, we've got to start something. Let's start walking. And then when we started the HOP90, you know, it was really important. Movement is really an important part. But it's not so much that you have to work out. That's something that came in much later. But we just wanted to get moving. And Marty was never one for walking. But I was like, let's just start slow. We started with like a 30-minute walk. Right. Now we walk on average an hour and a half is pretty much our set walk every time.
Amazing.
And we love it. And we try to walk every single day. And that's been a big part, and a big change was just, you know, bringing movement into our lives on a daily and loving it and just keeping up with it. Another point I would say is definitely, so the first 30 days of the HOP90, we really, you know, really wanted to just full on 100% the whole first 30 days. And you also, part of the reasoning, if I understand correctly, is to kind of give your body a break from some of the foods that you maybe were ingesting a lot before, and see if you have any inflammation or other hormonal imbalances. And so you want to like clear that palate, basically.
You got it.
So, you know, for 30 days, we didn't have a single bite of cheese, not a single piece of dairy, no bread, nothing of that at all. It wasn't until our first planned indulgence, you know, when we had a couple of those things, you know, and that was, for me, that was a huge eye opener. Like, wow, I was 30 days without bread and cheese. Like, I didn't think that was possible.
Crushed it.
And then, you know, you do that and you realize, my gosh, I don't need bread every day. I don't even want it every day. And now when I have it, it's like a special thing. Or same with cheese, like I said earlier, like we thought it had become like a condiment. And now I will be like, you know what, I feel like having cheese today. I'm going to have a few slices on the side of my plate as my fat.
Right.
And it's going to be so delicious. And I taste it way more than I was tasting. Like, it was just
incredible.
Yeah, cheese was lost. And now it's come back to me as this most amazing food that, yes, I love. And yes, I still have. But I'm not having it every day. And I don't need it every day. And I don't want it every day. And that was a huge realization.
Absolutely. And I think, somebody who not only had coached you through this program, but has been your friend for over a decade. And something that I relate to a lot as well is it's this black and white lifestyle, right? So you and Marty kind of coming into the program, as you said earlier, where you would do these fitness programs or challenges, and you would go all in and then fall completely off. And for us A-type folks out there, this gray area can be really challenging, right? So you're either all in or you're all off, and you're kind of constantly always swimming upstream against the current. So something that I'm so incredibly proud of you two and many other people that have gone through our program is finding your balance between understanding that 80% of the time, if you live this way, you're going to be this awesome version of yourself, but being okay and figuring out what the gray area looks like and how you can live in that and choose that guilt-free with planned indulgences, or sometimes unplanned, and just learning how to get back to your process, which has allowed you to, like, that is a complete 180 for you guys and has allowed you to get where you are. And I have literally zero doubt that by the end of this year, you guys are going to be crushing this even more than you are right now because of that mindset shift alone.
Yeah, and you hit on the two things there, Holly. You talked about no guilt when eating. Like, that's a huge thing for me. I didn't realize how much food guilt I had. Until starting this whole process and looking into yourself and finding out, where you need to work on your areas that make you be a better person. Because really, this program is not a weight loss program. This program is a life changer. This is like, I want to be, and as you guys always teach to us, the best version of me I can be. And to be that, I need to change my mindset and just each day try to be a little bit better, that 1%, to be that best person I can be. And you know what? Sticking to the process has been a huge, huge game changer. You get this process, it. I love it now. It's my jam, yeah, sure. We've had an unplanned indulgence. It's happened. Something's come up. All of a sudden we were maybe like, oh my God, I don't feel like cooking. We're ordering in, whatever. You have that one meal. You enjoy it. You love it. And then tomorrow, the next morning, we're right back to the process, and we know the process. Yeah. Even for example, so now we're finished the HOP90, and I have been able to identify through all this learning that weekends are our tough spot. We tend, on a weekend to have that old mindset or those old habits of, oh, it's the weekend, it's time to party, it's time to have a good time, it's time to, eat out and do all
the things.
Yeah, all the things, because I've been so good all week, And that's the mindset we've been really working on changing. And what I've learned is that I need to go into the weekend with my process totally backed up, in the sense that, what have I learned? I've learned how to meal prep like a
champ.
And having the food on the ready, healthy, delicious, whole foods, everything ready to go. So I know, for example, yesterday we made a big casserole that's going to take us for dinner till Monday. You know what
Fabulous.
I mean? And then today I'm making a big thing of lunch. That's going to be our lunch for the whole weekend. We are set up so that we have the food. You just grab it and go. And I know from doing this process that if I don't have my foods ready, then I'm way easier to just give in and order in when, that's not really what I want. I want to do that when it's planned. And when it's not planned, I want to stick to my process, and it feels good. And yeah, I
have goosebumps. I'm just like, oh gosh, so proud.
It's just, I just love how I feel now after, so it's a week after the 90 days, but nothing's changed. It's still the same as it was like 2 weeks ago. I'm in the process. I'm living the process. It is amazing, and I love it. And knowing that I can always come back to it if I have a moment of weakness or I and I still deal with the food guilt. That's always a thing that's kind of there, but now I have more times where I don't have the food guilt because I know how to not have it. If I'm
Right.
following the process and I have a planned indulgence, I feel awesome all the way through. There is no
Amazing.
guilt, and
Right.
it's awesome.
Because it was a choice, right? And I mean, you and Marty were so spectacular in the beginning where, you know, I think you guys had your anniversary in there and some other holidays and things that do come up, and the mindfulness behind it. Well, let's pick a place that we're really going to enjoy the food, but let's choose a place that's local, that we can support, that's using their own ingredients, but let's finish it with a nice piece of, you know, homemade cheesecake, and just making that decision. And what I love about your story is that it wasn't perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. There were highs and lows, there were tears, there was lots of joy and success shared. There was sleep training of an infant throughout this whole thing. You know, Marty is still working full time. It hasn't been easy, and we don't claim in the program that it's easy. This making change, especially with decades of habits working against you, can be very, very challenging, but you guys trusted the process. You went into it wholeheartedly. And like you said, which is what we recommend at the beginning, you aimed for 100% compliance in that first 30 days so we could give your stomach an opportunity to rest and digest and kind of reset itself. And now you have this newfound appreciation for these foods that you were barely tasting before because you were just eating them in larger quantities and larger amounts all the time. So the gratitude and the mindfulness that has come into your relationship with food has been probably the biggest transformation I've seen. And then you losing 35 pounds and Marty losing 37 pounds in 90 days, like it's just this awesome byproduct of all of the other amazing things that have happened for you guys, which is just, it just lights me right up.
And you're right too, Holly. Like there are so many steps. Like Marty said, for him, it's how he looks at food now.
Yes.
And how he sees some foods he sees foods that are bad, and then he sees the foods that are nourishing, and how his relationship with food has completely changed. And
Yes.
for myself as well. And
Yes.
like, you know, we found new foods we love. Cabbage. Hello, I love cabbage. And today for breakfast, I had cabbage steaks and smoked salmon on arugula. Like,
right?
When was that breakfast before? Never before.
I love it.
I loved it. It was so good. So like,
and
it's totally changing.
I want our viewers to know also that I want to say this was either just 2 weeks ago on our last HOP90 Q&A call when we were talking about breakfast, and Alana was like, I don't know about that. And your breakfast had been awesome. They'd been eggs and vegetables and whatever, but we were kind of talking about like, have your meats and other vegetables for breakfast. And less than 2 weeks later, your mindset has just been so incredible, right? Because we can really push back on some of these habits that we hold really near and dear to us, or they give us this big, warm, comfortable hug. But when we take a big look at how are they actually serving us, and then we have the right people teaching you the reasons behind why we want you to open your mind to something else, look at the magic that happens. Like it's just absolutely incredible to see how somebody's life can transform when they have the right education, the right empowerment, and a good support network, right? Like it's just been awesome. So I want to ask you and Marty, what are you guys most excited about for the future now that you've kind of looking at life through the HOP90 lens, as Marty has said?
I think for us, well, I'll quote Marty first because his was,
I love it.
He said, for him, the future is a more active life that eating healthy has provided for him. So he feels that he can now move more with this newfound energy and just have this active lifestyle that he always kind of wanted but never really was able to get. And now that's where he sees his future, as just being active with his son and, you know, like I said, loving to walk and doing just having so much energy and feeling great.
I think he actually told me that he's in like a similar shape to where he was in high school.
Yeah, he can't believe it. Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So great. And
congrats, Marty.
I think for the future for myself too, it's like and Marty and I both agree, same thing. Like, it wasn't like a 90-day hop, you know, it's a hop 360. It's a hop forever.
You got
You
it.
know, like it's changed our lives. And the thing is, it's only just begun. Like, I feel like
Right.
it's just begun to change. And this is an ongoing, like, new way of living that I love. And I'm just going to grow on and build on. And just, you know, I just want to keep being better at it and becoming a better me. You know, and I think that now I've got the tools and now I've got the groundwork in order to just keep on flying.
And that's what it is. And not only that, but you're inspiring not only your coach and friend and the rest of our team, all of the people who are around you. I mean, you've always been this absolute radiant light, but being that person, and also when you look in the mirror, seeing that person staring back at you and feeling like you're authentically that person, it's just so incredible. And you're right. This isn't 90 days and then you get to revert back to everything you were doing before. This is the best possible kickstart to giving you the information and having you truly believe that you have whatever you need within you to keep going for the rest of your life. And how you're setting your family dynamic up and the habits that you're going to be teaching Lucas through him simply just watching how you and Marty are living your life. I know that a lot of parents out there will really, really resonate with your story, and it's never too late to turn it around. You just start doing the things and watch how they respond, right?
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to have gotten this base with Lucas being so young, because
Yes.
now as he gets older and he's starting to eat more, you know, solid foods, and it's just, we're living that healthy lifestyle. Now he's going to live that healthy lifestyle, and that's what he's going to grow up to know.
Yep.
And he's just going to be that, and then
Yep.
that's what he'll pass on to everyone he knows, and we'll just make this grow worldwide.
Right. That's the plan, girl. That's the plan. Oh, I absolutely love it. Alana, just fantastic. And I don't want to keep you all day, but is there anything else that you kind of wanted to share? I know you had a big list there, and I don't want to miss anything.
I feel like we've touched on mostly everything, because we talked about the box breathing and that.
Yep.
I think, you know, a couple other things were just, you know, learning about, like I said, the meal prepping and doing all that, the buffet style, all these different ways of just making this program work for you. Like, yes, it's hard work, but it's not undoable work. Like, once
Right.
you get a rhythm for it, once you've done it a bit, you get a rhythm and you know what you're doing, and it's not that bad. You know, I have these 2 days a week I do meal prepping. I do my groceries and my meal planning twice a week. Like, you know, I figure out where it fits in and then just make a bunch of stuff and you're ready to go. You know, like,
right.
it is so doable. And that's what I think I want everyone to know, is that this is, sure, it's a change. Change is hard, but it's
Yep.
it's not terrible. It's not scary. It's not something you don't have time for. You can totally incorporate it into your life at any moment. And
Awesome, Alana.
and there's so many different levels to it that you touch on within this program. Like, it really is a full circle of your life. And you know, another thing, journaling. I've never really been big on that. I'm not very good at it, and even still now, I may have a day or two that I miss, but I really do connect with it now. And I do like writing down, you know, my identity goals and my other goals and things like that. And it's just all the small steps that make this the full program. It really is life-changing. And I'm so, so grateful that I was able to be a part of it.
Oh, I don't want to cry. I'm such a crier. As you know, I'm the crier of the group, everyone. I don't think anyone's shocked by that. We're so incredibly grateful for you and Marty as well, and for taking the time to not only celebrate the two of you and your accomplishments, but for you taking the time to spread our message, because we really do want to show people out there who are not feeling great in their skin right now that there is a different way. And we don't expect you to know what you're doing or to do it alone. So all the things that Alana is talking about that you probably know you could improve in your life, such as, you know, the shopping, the meal prepping, journaling, all of those things, they're built right into the program. So, and then you're working with a coach and a team to help you navigate through how to do those things at the same time, right? So like Michelle's just commented right here, she said, yeah, like all of this stuff is just second nature now, right? It's actually inherently who you are now, Alana. And our good friend Alicia wrote, remember when Marty didn't even want to walk downtown from our old place? That was only a 5-minute walk. Now look at him, an hour and a half a day. Woo! That's good change. Thanks, Lish.
We really do have to do a big shout out to the coaches. It's incredible, and even the community. Like all the people that were in the program with me, like, and even those that have already graduated and are there helping in the Facebook group, like we've all become like a little community, and it's awesome. Everyone's supporting and sharing food and like really motivating each other, and just it's just been such an overall amazing experience. And the coaches just are right there with you every step of the way. You're never alone. You've always got someone to reach out to. There's always someone there to get your back and help you if you've had a moment. Like, it really, I've got the chills now. Like, it's just been awesome.
Now you're crying.
Express the joy. Pure joy.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, Alana, thank you again. Thank Marty so much. I did get a little sneak peek of Marty and Lucas, and I did, Marty was gracious enough to share one of his after pictures today as well. So check out my my stories, and I'll do a feature about him a little bit later in the week. But thank you again so much for being here. And as Davor is always saying, we, yeah, come on in, guys. We want to see your after photos. So here's the man of the hour. And then here's Marty. So this is baby Lucas, who's gonna grow up to have the best, healthiest life ever. And yeah, congrats again, Marty, for all of your success. And just thank you so much for putting for your trust in us, guys. And we're just, you know, congratulations from the bottom of our hearts. And we look forward to seeing your after pictures in 90 days from now. Woo!
That's great.
Awesome. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
You're awesome. Yay!
Yay! Bye.